Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about how women get attached. So if you are trying to get a woman that you like to like you more, or if you're just wondering how you can up your dating game so you can attract more women and get them more attached to you, especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship and you're hoping to get into a relationship soon, then this video is for you on how to help get the women that you like attached to you, and to basically just have a more of an understanding about how women get attached, so you can use that to your benefit, so you can have a happy, loving relationship with the woman of your choosing. So one of the first things, though, that I need to get into is that there's a quote by David D'Angelo, which is, "Attraction isn't a choice." Okay. You can even watch a video here on YouTube. If you type in David D'Angelo, "attraction isn't a choice," it'll come up for you. So what that means essentially is that if a woman is really attracted to you, there's not really you can make mistakes. You can become a little bit needy. You know, whatever, right? You can make mistakes. If she's really, really attracted to you and has a high attraction for you, it's going to be quite difficult to shake her off. So you would have to be displaying lots of bad behavior to shake her off, okay? And if she's attracted to you, she can't help but be drawn to you. Just like how you can't help being drawn to the women that you find really, really attractive. So what you also need to understand about women as well is that it's not always the looks. Okay, it's not always the way that you look that gets her attracted. Now, that may be kind of confusing for you because you're a guy, right? And when you look at a woman, you go through you look at her and you think, oh yeah, she's great. Yeah, sure, I would love to sleep with her. Sure, I'd really like to get to know her because she looks gorgeous. She's got nice hair or nice boobs, nice bum, whatever it may be. But because men typically are very visual creatures. Whereas women tend to be more emotional creatures. Now, that doesn't mean that men have no emotions and women have all of the emotions. And it doesn't mean that women have too many emotions and are overly emotional and crying and acting crazy all the time. That's not what I mean by that. Everyone has emotions. It's just that women are more in tune with their emotions and they use how they feel to make choices, especially when it comes to picking the men that they choose to be with. They're more focused on how does he make me feel, not how he looks. So because the thing is that you can be really good looking, right? You can be the best looking guy on the planet, but if you make women feel uncomfortable, they're not going to pick that guy. Sure, he may get his foot in the door, he may have a couple of dates with her, he may even get her in bed once or twice, but he won't end up in a long-term relationship with her. She will eventually leave him. Because if he makes her feel uncomfortable and icky, or just having emotions that just feel really negative, then she's not going to want to hang around with him for very long. Even if he's the best looking guy on the planet and he looks like a Greek god. So it's really important that you need to understand that women are emotional creatures. And one of the things that women look for in guys that helps them fall in love and want to be with you is security. Now, that's not always about money, because when you hear like, oh, she wants security, it means, oh yeah, what she wants a guy with a trust fund or something. Like that song that was just on TikTok for ages. God, I can't even think about the right way to say it, but it's like I want a guy in finance, Blue Eyes 6'5" finance trust fund or something like that. But anyway, that's not what I mean. Now, obviously, that plays a huge role in some women's lives, especially if they come from like a poor country or something like that. Perhaps they are looking for a guy who has at least some money, maybe, right? But again, it's not, if the guy could have all the money in the world, right, and spend all the money on her, just spends so much money on her, gives her suitcases full of money. But if he makes her feel uncomfortable and unsafe and icky or upset and negative, she's not going to want to stay around him for very long. Even if the money helps him get through the door, even if the money helps him sleep with her a few times, even if the money even creates a relationship with her, that relationship won't last long if she doesn't feel comfortable around him. So when we want this security, but the security comes from how they feel. They want to feel like they are safe. So one of the examples I can give that I remember my mum told me about my dad, and why they've been together for, I don't know how long now, a long time, like over, I think it maybe nearly, it's coming up to 40 years, I'm pretty sure. So but my mum knew him before they got, because my mum was in a marriage before she married my dad, but she did know my dad before she got into this new relationship, because she met him at work when she was a teenager, and then she wasn't in that job anymore, and then she found a husband, but anyway, I digress. When my mum was a teenager and she worked at this job, and my dad was about maybe like 5 years, I think he's about 5 years older than her, she said that she liked my dad because he made her feel safe. So an example of this was when it was late one night and my mum was on a bus, because that was the company they worked for. My dad was also on this bus he was working. And my mum got told before she got on the bus that her dad was waiting for her at the bus stop, ready for her to get off. And he was in a bad mood for some reason. I don't know if it was because my mum had stayed out a bit too late, but he was very, very angry. And my mum has always said to me about how terrified she has been, or was, of her father when he was alive. He was an alcoholic. He had lots and lots of issues. And she had a very turbulent childhood because of how scary he was. Okay. And she was terrified of him. She said, she's always told me that my dad used to frighten me. Didn't make her feel safe. So my dad, who was there on this bus, said, what's going to happen is you're going to stay on the bus with me and you're going to get off a stop later and then go home that way. And she just remembers how afraid she felt, and she remembers that my dad held her hand because she was so afraid, she was so scared. And she said that she liked the way that my dad made her feel safe. Now, my dad was in the same job, he worked for the same company for a very long time, ever since he was 17. He's never been a rich guy. He's always had sort of a regular paying job. He's had different jobs within the company, but it's been the same company throughout. Famous bus company here in the UK, and he's not exactly the most good looking guy either. He's always been overweight, sometimes like pretty much obese. He's got a permanent lazy eye, and generally just not the most attractive guy that you would pick. If you lined him up in front of a bunch of guys, he would probably be one of the least attractive men, right? And so he didn't have money, he didn't have looks, but he made her feel safe and secure. So when you are, and that's how she got more attached to him. And also he was kind of fun and flirtatious. I remember there was a story that she told me when she used to work with him. There was like a Christmas party and there was basically playing like Kiss Chase or something like that. And he chased her around the office and things like that. And it was just really like a fun, flirtatious environment from what it sounds like. And she always remembers that memory with great fondness. So he also had that sort of vibe, the vibe to be able to flirt and play and tease. I think what helped him was that he had loads of siblings growing up. He had like 5. He was the eldest of 5 siblings. No, the eldest of 6, sorry, including himself. So I think that helps. I think it helps if you've grown up with siblings to know how to banter, to know how to like sort of like tease each other and stuff. But obviously when you tease women, you're being a lot more gentle with the teasing. You're not being so aggressive. But it depends on the woman actually, because if she's had loads of siblings, then maybe the bantering and the teasing can be a little bit more vicious sometimes. But either way, he had the right vibe. Okay, he didn't have looks, he didn't have much money, but he had the vibe, that vibe that made her feel safe. And that's a great example of how you can be with women. If you can make her feel safe in terms of actual, like, physical safety, and if you know how to play and tease her, then you also make her feel safe, because you're showing her that I'm not afraid to banter with you. I'm not afraid to I'm not going to tiptoe around you and worry about if I'm saying the right or wrong things. I'm just going to be authentically myself, tell you how it is, and if I'm going to make a joke and if I'm going to tease you, I'm going to do it. And that's the kind of attitude that you want to have. So what you got to realize then is that it really isn't about your looks. It's about your vibe, and it's about the way that you act and you treat women. And if you can make them feel comfortable on the inside, at ease, and you can get any woman to like you. You might be able to get them to like you romantically, but if you're able to, like, chat and tease and banter and flirt with, the women that you come across in your life, even if some of them don't fancy you, they'll still really like you and like to hang out with you and like to be around you, because you've got that energy that makes them feel safe, that makes them realize that they can have a laugh and have a joke, and you're not making her feel uncomfortable by being inappropriate or being too angry or whatever it may be. So women get attached through how secure and how safe they feel when they're with you. And that's what all women are looking for. Now, yes, there are some women that will only date guys who are good looking and rich, or just rich. But they are just as shallow as any men out there who are only looking to date hot women and don't care about anything else. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.